Hi folks, welcome to another segment. This little segment is about pointing to the words, so it's really aimed at beginning readers. Why do we point to the words? Why is it important at that early phase? And when do we no longer need to be pointing to words? So to begin with, we'll think about what it is that we are trying to observe when we point to the words. When children are pointing to the words, what we are observing that they're able to do and helping them to practice is matching the spoken word with the written word to make sure that when they say, "The man is sleeping," that they know they haven't run out of words and that they haven't got too many words. So if the child was trying to say, "The man is sleeping," then we would notice that they possibly don't know sleeping is one word. So the man is sleeping. The man is running. So at this very early level, we would often ask the children to point to the words so that we can be sure they can match the spoken and the written word, and that it draws their attention to the fact that they may have inserted a word or omitted a word along the way. So it's a good way of them checking. When there are 2 lines of print on the page, we still ask the children to point to the words. "Can I go to the moon?" said the kangaroo. No. So here we're doing the same thing, that one-to-one matching, but we now want to ensure that the child knows at the end of that first line we come down and we return sweep and keep going. We would also want them to point to that word over there and read that one as well. So at these very early levels in children's reading, we ask them to point to words so that we can be sure they can match one-to-one, they control the return sweep or know where to go next in the reading, but it also alerts the reader to any mistakes they might make if they're inserting or omitting words along the way. If the children are reading these books at home and you notice they can read all those words and track them all really quite well as they go, you could even ask them if they would like to have another turn reading where we don't use our finger, where we follow the words with our eyes and our eyes will move across the words. And what we're starting to do is now to provide some independence at taking away a prompt or a support and to track now using the eyes alone. What this will do, and this is a very important transition for the children to make, is start to ensure that we focus on the building of some fluency. So our reading should sound more like talking, but at these early levels where children are using their pointing finger, the reading tends to sound quite robotic because the finger always slows down the way those words are read. So if we take out our pointing finger, we could even do this with our children at home. We could say, let's read it together without our pointing finger. "Can I go to the moon?" said the kangaroo. You could even support the child a little bit more if you wanted to by sliding your finger. And look, if you start by putting your finger under the very first letter of the word and then slide it across, it encourages the children to look through the word from the first letter to the last letter in the word as they are reading, and that's also really important. So you could say, let's read it together now. I'll slide my finger and we'll see if we can keep up with my finger. "Can I go to the moon?" said the kangaroo. And we know we can't go too quickly or the children won't be able to keep up at this early stage, but we're very mindful. We want to move from that robotic reading into a smooth transition of reading words in groups of words in a more conversational way. So when does that pointing finger need to come out? Well, look, they really need the pointing finger at these initial letters when there's not a lot of text on the page. Once they're getting to this stage, lots of children still want to use their pointing finger because it can be a habit, but it can also be secure. So sometimes the children will like to use that security measure, their finger, because it helps them to know if they make a mistake and run out of words. But if they've read the text, then you can then again encourage that finger out and see if they can read the text without the finger being there in the book as well. If you do tend to notice any unusual behaviours starting to surface, so it might be that your child has to zoom in really closely, or they might put the book closer to their face, or they might start rubbing their eyes, or they might lose their place frequently when their finger is not there, that can be a really useful observation, and it can be worth checking with a behavioural optometrist to make sure there are no issues with the tracking of the words on the page. I hope you found that useful. I'll see you next time. Bye.